Do you know who's responsible for the fact that we can use computers today? No, not Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, or Mark Zuckerberg. It was actually a British mathematician named Alan Turing who created the first computer back in the 1930s. But nobody talks about him. Why is that? Because he worked in secret, while the rest of the world knew nothing. Turing and his team of codebreakers helped end World War II and ushered in the era of modern technology. So now get ready to go back in time to 1930s England, where we will explore the story of Alan Turing and how he saved the world without anyone knowing it. Chapter 1. The German Threat. In 1932, a German engineer named Arthur Scherbius patented a machine that could encrypt messages by scrambling them into a seemingly random jumble of letters. The device, dubbed Enigma, looked like a typewriter, but its keys didn't correspond to regular letters. Instead, they were replaced with a series of symbols, each representing a different combination of four letters. For example, pressing the letter A on the keyboard might produce the encrypted message H, ELLO, and since these ciphered messages couldn't be easily deciphered, the Germans began using Enigma to transmit top-secret military information. This included battle plans, troop movements, and even high-level political discussions. At first, the British weren't too concerned about Enigma. After all, the Germans had only used it sporadically during the early stages of the war. But then something strange happened. In May 1941, German forces invaded the Netherlands, Belgium, and Luxembourg, all countries that Germany was supposed to be allied with. As Winston Churchill, Prime Minister of Great Britain, would later say, "We were all taken by surprise." And that was largely because no one had been able to read the Germans' secret communications. Once it became clear that the Germans had used Enigma to coordinate their attacks, the British government realized they needed to crack the code if they wanted to stay ahead of the enemy. Chapter 2. Breaking the Code. To get started, the British recruited the best minds in mathematics, cryptography, and engineering. They included logician Ludwig Wittgenstein, mathematician Max Newman, and engineer Tommy Flowers. Together, they formed a top-secret unit called the Government Code and Cipher School at Bletchley Park. Their mission: break the Enigma code. But the task seemed almost impossible. You see, Enigma's encryption process was incredibly complex. If left unchecked, its cipher wheels could produce 150 billion unique combinations per day. And if you wanted to guess the right combination, you'd need to try every single one. At that rate, it would take more than 168 years to crack the code using only brute force. Luckily, the team didn't have to do things the hard way. That's because in 1936, one of the team members, Polish mathematician Marian Rejewski, arrived with a major lead. You see, before the war broke out, the Polish government had managed to break Enigma on their own. They used a machine called a bomba, which took its name from the Polish word for explosion because it blew up the encryption process by producing a huge number of possible solutions in a very short amount of time. Still, the Poles hadn't been able to beat Enigma completely, and when the Germans invaded Poland in 1939, they lost their code-breaking machines to the advancing troops. Now, though, with help from the Poles, the British had a much easier time building their own version of the bomba, which they called the bomb. Under Turing's leadership, the new machine went through hundreds of thousands of Enigma's possible code combinations per second, making what once seemed impossible possible. But that's not to say it was easy. Remember, unlike today's supercomputers, the bomb wasn't connected to the internet or powered by electricity. Instead, it relied on a mechanical system of rotating wheels and gears to simulate the encryption process. As a result, the bombs had to be programmed manually, and the team had to build a massive factory to power it. Fortunately, by 1942, everything was finally in place. That year, the bomb successfully decrypted the Germans' most secret communication, proving once and for all that Enigma wasn't unbreakable. Chapter 3. Victory and Legacy. Now that they had cracked the Enigma code, Turing and his team went into overdrive. By the end of the war, they had broken nearly half of the Germans' encrypted messages. This gave the Allies invaluable insight into the enemy's next moves. It enabled them to track German U-boat movements, foil assassination attempts, and even capture double agents. Historians estimate that breaking the Enigma code saved countless lives and may have shortened the war by 2 years. But the code breakers didn't receive much public recognition until decades after the war ended. That's because in 1952, Alan Turing was arrested for the crime of gross indecency. You see, Turing was gay, and at the time homosexuality was illegal in Britain. As a result, he was given the choice between prison or chemical castration. Tragically, he chose the latter. Only months later, he died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. He was just 41 years old. Today, though, Alan Turing is considered one of the founding fathers of computer science, and his story has inspired movies, TV shows, and even video games. Most importantly, he serves as a reminder that some of history's greatest achievements happen behind the scenes. Sure, we remember the famous faces like Churchill and Eisenhower, but what would they have done without the unseen efforts of code breakers like Turing? The answer is nothing. So now we want to ask you, what do you think makes Alan Turing such an important figure in history? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. And while you're there, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss another thrilling episode. Thanks for watching.